Okay, this is my first time recording with the GoPro Hero 8. I don't know how this is going to turn out. Hopefully it'll be alright because I don't want to have to do this all again. Okay. Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alice. This is my bucket and this is Alice's bucket. This is the channel where I'm going to be telling you all about my adventures. I'll tell you some stories that have changed my perspective on life, and I'll also share with you some of the things that I've yet to do. I want to encourage you all to go out there and explore the world. Well, not yet, but soon. Hopefully soon. So I think without further ado, we should just dive right in and see what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. And today's topic is fear. Ooh. If only I was doing this around Halloween. That would have been a really good segue. I think it's important that we don't let fear stop us from doing the things that we really want to do or achieve. So I've got a couple of stories to share with you today, how I faced my fear and I came out on the other side better than ever. I'm going to tell you, my biggest downfall is my fear of heights. Pun intended, thank you very much. Good night! Yes, I did write that joke myself. Thank you. Yet, despite my fear of heights, I seem to have a habit of putting myself in situations where I seem to be very far from the ground. Now, I'm not proud of it. But I do remember there was one incident where peer pressure and FOMO got the better of me. FOMO is fear of missing out. And I know it's a terrible thing to say. I should not be encouraging it. And I don't encourage it. Guys, please don't do anything just because people are telling you you should. Also, if someone is trying to make you change or do something that you don't want to do, you don't need that person in your life. Trust me, it wasn't all peer pressure, you know, I wouldn't have done it if I didn't want to do it. This all happened on a little island called Nusa Penida. It's just off the, the southeast coast of Bali. And it's this gorgeous little hilly island, most famous for this place. If you've not been to this place yourself, you may have seen this on Instagram. This is known as Kelingking Beach, and this is where my story takes place. One thing to note about Nusa Penida is that the roads are very hilly and very poorly maintained, so it's very hard to get around the island. The usual mode of transport for the locals is motorbike. There are taxis on the island, but they do really struggle with the roads. Okay, so I have to go around this island on a motorbike. I don't want to drive a motorbike. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm too scared. Luckily, at breakfast, I was speaking to someone who happened to be a local, and he'd been riding motorbikes since he was like 9 years old. And he offered to take me down to Kelingking, which I thought was the best option. There was also another couple of girls who came with us. They had their own motorbike. So the four of us went down to Kelingking Beach. It was beautiful, it was stunning. We spent some time standing on the cliff, taking photos, getting some shots of the cliff that goes all the way down, and you've got this beautiful little cove at the bottom with this little sandy beach and the blue ocean. Really nice. And I thought that was going to be it. I was so wrong. The thing at Kelingking is that it comes to kind of like a point, and on the side of the cliff you've got these kind of what I can only describe as like Blue Peter arts and crafts stairs that go almost vertical down the edge of the cliff all the way down to the beach below. And these steps are made of like bamboo with like that blue string just kind of wrapped around and tied together. But I could see there were people down on the beach. So there are some crazy people in the world that actually climb these stairs down to the bottom. Did you see how steep the steps were? Let me just put that photo up again. To put the cherry on the cake, there was a sign at the top of the stairs and it said something like, "Warning, these stairs are unsafe," or, you know, go at your own risk. And I was like, well, yeah, okay, anyone who goes down these steps must be absolutely crazy. You know, they're just asking for it. Oh, well, let's go home. The people I'm with turn around and say, I think we should go. Let's go down the stairs. And can I just remind you, not only are these some very suspect steps, I have a massive fear of heights. It's the kind of fear that stopped me from standing at the edge of one of the little London Eye booths. I literally sat on the bench in the middle, just being like, ah, this is good enough for me. I don't need to go any closer. I can see it. Like, I can see. I don't need to be at the edge. Like, I can see everything. The view from here is not going to be different to the view, like, at the edge. Like, it's fine. So when they said, oh, let's climb down, I was like, no way, not going to happen. But you see where this story's going, right? The thing is, they were going to do this whether I went with them or not. So I could either just sit at the top of the cliff and wait, or I could go with them. So after a few minutes of debating and discussing, I find myself scaling down the side of this cliff. And whilst my friends were descending like they were just stepping off a train, I was going down like a toddler who's not quite yet learned to walk. You know when they kind of slide their bum down the steps? That's what I was doing. And I don't think I've been so stressed in my entire life. And by the way, pro tip, don't make this trip in the middle of the day. I was gonna say don't do it in the summer, but it's literally hot there all year round. So just go early in the morning or late in the evening, okay? I think it took us about 45 minutes to get down to the bottom. And by the time we got there, my bright orange shorts were just covered in dirt at the back. It looked like I'd made a mess in my shorts. But you know what? I didn't care. I was just happy to have my feet on the ground and to be alive. Well done me, winning! And once we were down there, we had a great time cooling off in the sea and enjoying the nice little private beach that we had. There was a couple of other people that were there as well, but you know, it felt very secluded and I had that feeling of, oh, well, not many people actually make this trip down. I don't know, I just felt very kind of accomplished, a little bit smug, I think. But yeah, the water was lovely and cool. I wouldn't suggest swimming there because the current is quite strong, so just be aware of that. It was this beautiful little secluded beach paradise. But was it worth it, I hear you say? Well, stick around and I'll tell you at the end. Now, that first example was induced by a mixture of FOMO and peer pressure. My next example, I have no one to blame but myself. Let's fast forward to the summer of 2018. What a time. A time of adventure, of exploration, of being outside, of seeing people. Gosh, 2018 me didn't even see 2020 me coming. I spent the summer interrailing around Europe, and one of my absolute favourite places was Switzerland. Switzerland has so much natural beauty. It was just gorgeous. And I went to this one particular place called Lauterbrunnen. Again, you might have seen this on Instagram or something if you've not been there yourself. It's this little village nestled in this valley in the Swiss Alps. And there's this beautiful freestanding waterfall that comes over the cliff and falls 275 meters down to the ground. Oh, here's a fun fact. The tallest waterfall in the world is actually underwater and it's called the What's it called? It's called the Denmark Strait Cataract and it's 3,500 meters tall. Go Google it. It's true. Not lying. Okay, so I'm in this beautiful part of Switzerland and the main thing that people do there is go hiking. And there's a network of cable cars that take you up to the cliffs and you can go hiking in the mountains and it's beautiful. If you want more of a bird's eye view, there are several companies that can take you paragliding. So it's kind of like skydiving, but without the sort of, you know, scary jumping out of a tin plane kind of thing. So when I was staying in Lauterbrunnen, there was one of these paragliding companies that was just down the road from where I was staying. So I would pass it every time I went to the cable car station. And it was kind of in the back of my mind as something that I would be interested in trying. And then during one of my walks along the cliff, I actually came across what must be a popular spot for paragliders because there were several of them lining up their parachutes on the ground ready to take off. So I decided to sit and just watch and see what it was going to be like. The parachute's just there on the ground, the people run forward and before you know it, they're just kind of take off. There's no like scary jumping off a cliff or anything like that. The wind just kind of lifts you up so you kind of float. So I watched a few people go and it just looked like the easiest thing ever. And then my FOMO kicked in and I just started thinking, well, when would I ever get another opportunity like this? I'll probably just regret it later. So on my way back to my accommodation, I ended up signing up to go paragliding the very next day. So on to the actual day itself. We took a cable car up to our launching spot. And again, it was just a gentle slope on a mountainside. And I volunteered to go first out of the group. The instructor seemed really nice and I just thought he'd be a good guy. 2, I didn't just want to sit there watching everyone else and, you know, start to lose my nerve. So I thought if I just go now, I can't even like think about it. I just have to do it. So like I said, it's kind of like skydiving. You're strapped into the front of the instructor, got all the clips on, and I'm ready to go. And I know I said before, you just do a little run and then you sort of take off. It's more like a waddle, because you and the instructor are kind of trying to run at the same time, but it's quite hard to do that. It's very ungraceful, but it's literally only for about 5 seconds, because before you know it, you're up and you're off. And I was fine at first, but I thought as soon as I get to the edge of the cliff and look down to the valley, I'll start panicking. But actually, I was very calm. And I think it was because I knew I was in capable hands. You know, he had been paragliding for about 30 years. And also, when you're paragliding, you get this really sort of weightless feeling. And it's really calming and actually quite fun. And you're slowly gliding and making your way down to the bottom, but it's at a very slow pace. So I think we were in the air for about 20-25 minutes. So you can really take your time, enjoy the scenery. It was really gorgeous. My guide actually let me steer the parachute, I guess you would say. Steer the parachute myself. And my guide actually took some photos and videos of the whole thing. You're seeing some of this footage now. And I bought the USB at the end for, I think it was an extra 20 euros, which I thought was worth it. Now, I could have taken my own GoPro and did this myself, but I didn't want to be constantly thinking about my camera and miss what was happening in the moment. So you can take your own camera if you like, but I wanted to just relax and enjoy the experience I was having. It was so special. I will never forget that experience. I'm so glad I did it. Okay, so now that I've told that story, I don't actually think I was that afraid. But I thought I was going to be afraid, and that almost stopped me from having that tremendous experience. And relating that back to my first story, was it worth it? I would say yes, I do think it was worth it. Not because I think it was like the most amazing beach in the world. It was worth it because I pushed myself to the limit, and my fear was so extreme that I think it made me much braver. And these experiences I had afterwards, they suddenly didn't feel like such a big deal. And I definitely think I'm a much braver person now. I mean, starting this channel for one thing, I find this really scary, to be honest. And you kind of have to face yourself, which I think can be quite daunting. But if you don't take risks, you're never gonna know your full potential. So tell me, when were you most afraid? And what did you do to conquer that fear? Please let me know in the comments, or you can email me at alicesbucket@outlook.com. So to sum it up, be safe, take risks, but not too many risks, but be risky, but don't be stupid. Is that the takeaway? I am not endorsing that you go down the steps at Kelingking Beach though. I'm making that very clear. Make your own decisions. Don't let anyone else tell you what to do or what not to do. Be brave. Yes, okay, till next time, bye!